Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, or if you're new, karibu sana. My name is Vanessa Sheila and this is Pefadon Home Church. Today's topic will be mental health and how it's affecting us during this coronavirus pandemic. I hope you will like this video, leave a comment and please subscribe. Thank you.
Hi people, my name is Chelsea Karaoke and today I want to talk to you about mental health from a young Christian's perspective. So many times in our lives we tend to ask ourselves why. Why do things happen the way they do? Why is it that I am putting so much effort in my studies, nasoma sana, but I'm not getting the results nataka? I put so much effort and hard work in my business, but the success is just not coming. Is it that Mungu haoni the effort naeka ama Mungu hataki kunibariki, or what is God not doing, or what am I not doing right? Why is it that someone who was so close to me had to pass? Or why is it that I come from a violent home? Why is it that I went through some form of abuse at some point in my life? And why is it that God is not trying to help me through the situation? And when we ask ourselves this question so many times and we cannot just find an answer to it, we tend to get issues that affect us mentally. For instance, we tend to get bipolar disorders whereby I am too happy at some point and the next minute I am too sad, or I get depressed. This is whereby I feel too sad and I am uninterested in the activities that I enjoy doing for a prolonged period of time. Now, there's a difference between being sad and being depressed, whereby being sad is something that happens on a normal basis in our lives, but being depressed comes for prolonged periods of time. Others have anxiety issues whereby you have this feeling that something bad is going to happen. Others have eating disorders. Tapata mtu ako so self-conscious about their body size such that anafikiria I am overweight, but ukimwangalia clearly hayuko overweight, and they tend to stop eating, or they reduce the amount of food they're eating. And others just have eating disorders where they will eat too much and it affects them because binge eating will have them being obese, or it will affect them physically. Others have post-traumatic disorders where they cannot just move on from something that happened to them in the past. It affects them up to now. For example, you were coming from a violent background, or you were abused sexually when you were younger, and you just cannot remove that from your head. When we go through these issues, we find it really difficult to talk about it, and we cannot show it in the open, all for the image of I want to look strong. And the way that you can easily identify someone going through such issues is they tend to withdraw from interacting with people. You might have had a really active friend, but then ukijaribu kucommunicate na yeye sahi humfiki, you cannot call them or you cannot text them because hawapatikani. They have isolated themselves, wataki kuongea na wewe at all, or anyone who they were used to interacting with. People will have changes in sleeping patterns. They sleep too much, ama wako na insomnia. They have change in eating patterns. They eat too much, or you lose your appetite. Others have loss of focus, or they have a really hard time concentrating and a short-term memory loss, whereby you cannot remember things that happened in the near past, or you cannot be able to analyze problems or situations the way you usually did. Others have attempted suicide before. Others have gone on the paths of self-harm, whereby utapata mtu amejikatakata either kwa mikono or on the thighs, but then they cover it up with long sleeves and you cannot see them. Others also go into drugs as a way of relieving this feeling that they have inside them. Even if we go through all these issues, I would like us to know that each and every one of them is treatable. You can go find a friend, perhaps, who you are very close to, and you can talk to them and tell them whatever it is that is disturbing you, because having someone to listen to you will really assist you, because you are lifting the burden off your back. Even if they will not necessarily give you a solution, at least talking about it and having someone to listen to you will help you. You can go look for professional emotional support from a psychologist, or you can even go pray about it and tell God exactly how you're feeling, what is disturbing you. And even if you're praying, you also still need to act on it. If it's something that is serious, you can also get medication or counseling. We will have a number in the description box below, whereby you can access one of our church counselors and communicate with them and tell them whatever it is that is disturbing you. So now I would like to invite a very good friend of mine, Kai, who has a degree in psychology and counseling, and I would love to ask him a few questions so that he can inform us more on how to deal with our mental issues even during this corona pandemic. Okay, it's been really long since I last saw you, and I am so happy to see you once again.
I'm glad to be here too.
Now, as humans, we like expecting things in our lives. We like routines being used to following a specific schedule. And when we are bombarded with a situation ka corona, traumatize sahi, most of us tend to think things will not go back to normal. And how corona has come, it has brought so many things along with it, and so many people have lost their jobs in the long run. What advice would you give such people?
I think for anyone who has lost their jobs during this period, it might seem like the future is very uncertain. It might seem like the future has nothing to offer, but I'd like to tell you this, that even in times of trouble, we still has a God who comes through, and not just comes through in the spiritual sense, but also in the physical sense of things. When Moses asked God how he was going to save the Israelites, what he was going to do to free his people, God asked him what was in his hand, and in that very moment, it was just a staff that he used to herd goats with. Most likely, he picked it up from the ground somewhere, not knowing that this same staff would be used for such great deeds. So I would say, what is it that you have in your hands? Sure, you've lost your jobs, there are bills that are coming, landlord knocking down your door, electricity bills, Wi-Fi, but what does that person have in his hands? What do you have in your hands? What can you use right now in terms of building your skill? Because your job does not define how high your skill goes, and during these times, it might be people lost jobs, but there's so many more educational opportunities that have opened online. So it could be time to beef up your CV, which you had ignored while you were working. It could be time to refresh your people skills. Whichever career you're in, there is never anyone mwenye amefika kabisa. So you have lots of time to learn. So that's what I would say to anyone who has lost a job or lost a source of income right now. Build yourself, because once corona is gone, once the country is opened up again, life is going to pick up like a marathon.
Now, for ongoing students, we're used to kuamka asubuhi, afterwards you go to class, you interact with your peers, your classmates, you make jokes here and there, you hang out. But now, tumamba tukae home, and we are literally stuck at home. What would you tell us? Like, what advice would you give us so that we can be able to get comfortable with this quarantine situation and just staying at home?
I think a good example would be me. I was one of those people, very used to wake up at this time, eat at this time, sleep at this time, game at this time. But when COVID struck, week 1 was amazing, I won't lie. Week 1 was great. I could wake up whenever I want, could game whenever I want, could eat whenever I wanted. And then week 2, and then week 3, and then week 4. And all of a sudden, I could not function as a normal.
Yeah.
I just couldn't take it. So what I did, it was hard initially, but I got back to a routine. Set my alarm at a particular time every day, knowing this is what time I wake up. This is what I do after I've woken up. This is what I fixed for myself, a routine, which helped me manage my time better. Because I realized COVID might have put a pause on life, but when things come back to normal, all the habits that I am learning now of not being time-bound, of not being self-disciplined, I'm going to carry all of that into a world where people need to catch up with time. So set for yourself a routine.
Yeah.
If during this time people would be in second term, almost in the middle of second term, so wake up, study, give yourself a routine is what I would say. Whatever you were doing before in life, give yourself that routine right now, so that when life picks up, you're one of those people who are immediately taking advantage of the opportunities that are there, not one of the people who will have to catch up with a lot of bad habits that they picked up during this time. So keep that routine.
How would you be able to identify, Useme, I have issues with my mental health, me as a third party, how will I be able to identify that a friend of mine or a loved one of mine has issues that are affecting them mentally, and how do I assist?
Right now, people have been forced to be in one space of confinement. Society before now, everyone was busy outside. Watu hawako wanakaa home. Na hata ukikaa home, you're in your room, I'm in my room, parents are doing their thing, but now everyone is here and there is nothing better to do than to be here. So now could be the time where you notice, hey, sistango kuna venye akwangi sawa, or bradango kuna venye, or there's kumbe dad has been hiding an issue, or mom has been dealing with something but we never saw. Some of the signs that you mentioned, those are really important. People who suddenly withdraw from common interactions, people who stop doing what they love to do, people who overeat right now or completely stop eating. But I think one of the biggest signs, especially now in a home, would be if someone isolates themselves a bit too much. Kuna ile ni sawa, we're in the 21st century. I mean, as long as niko na simu yangu, I have the world at my disposal. But if someone is too isolated, they don't speak, they don't talk, they lock themselves in their rooms the whole time, that's a problem. That you can see that's a problem. And a bigger problem now would be, since you have not been speaking to this person to begin with, you would not know how to approach it. But I'd invite people, now is the time to practice love in the home. Do you know who your sister is? Do you know who your brother is? Do you know who your parents are outside being your parents? Now is the time for you to really look at what they like, who they are as people. And if someone is struggling with something, now would be the perfect time to just bring it up in a very chilled environment. And even if it's not chilled, atenda wapi. Issues have to be dealt with right then and there. Yeah. So it would be good if you notice something, bring it up as a family, cover it together. And for young people, it's easy. For parents, nitasema leniency kidogo. We've got a lot of parents who are, what would I say, like a whip, and a cane if you do not follow the rules. So right now, the parents should be very understanding, get to learn their children. So just going back to the question, the biggest thing that right now is super isolation. That would be an immediate cause of concern if I'm looking at people in a house together for a very long time. Yeah.
Now, I have really learned a lot from Kai. I hope you have as well. But I would really like to emphasize on the point of spending time with each other at home. Take advantage of the situation. Now that you're at home with your family, you can do a few things here and there to increase the interaction that you usually have with each other. Probably play games with your siblings, or go watch a movie, or even check up on your friends. You can call them or even have video chats with them. Just check up on them and see if they're okay. And tutakuwa sawa. So even as we are concluding this session, I would love to leave you with two scriptures. One from the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33. And the scripture says, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you'll have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. The next scripture comes from Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. And it says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through rivers they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. I want you to remember that you are not alone, even as we are currently facing this pandemic. I want you to know that we are here together as a family to support you. And even as we are going through this life, I want you to know that we are not guaranteed a life without pain. So even if we go through whatever situation we face, I want you to know that God is there with us. He is an overcomer, and we will be okay. So thank you so much for watching our video, and I would like you to leave a thumbs up or even subscribe to our channel. We will be leaving videos each and every week on Mondays, and feel free to leave your feedback, whatever you've learned in the comment section below. Thank you.
Yo, niaje guys, I hope mko poa mkiwa home. Wenye mnijui by the way nitwanga Mandela na as usual nimeandikia kitu. I hope mtabarikiwa. You see, growing up, I always thought mental health ni kitu ya muhimu. I always thought, look at the positive side, usiangalie negative or else utakuwa wazimu. Waliniambia for every dark cloud itakuja, look at the silver lining. Na for sure, mental health yako itakuwa perfect ka gold imetoka refining. Waliniambia depression na anxiety ndio the society's biggest problems. But till this day, thank God, you only grow up na hiyo mentality. But what happens when your surroundings portray a different picture? What happens when everything good inakaanganika imejificha? Venye Yesu alikuwa anasaidiana ni kali sawa kumit your needs. Sababu Uhuru ameongeza curfew na bado una dose kwa streets. Daily unachezanga game ya brikicho na polisi. Walikuvuta job wakisema ati kupata salary na hii corona si rahisi. Honestly, life imekupiga makeo left, right, center. Unatamani tu dead you go and meet your creator. Kila day ukiamka unaonanga stage yenye life imekufikisha. Neri tu kwa kamba nijiendishe maisha. Sababu life imekupiga 10 na bado hadi first half haijaisha. Every fiber of your being inatamani tu kufe. Daily it's a constant battle in your mind. Niendelee kuishi ama nijirushe. Za leo mimi nakuja kuambia hizo thoughts from your head. Because may live this long, what's the point ukiachia here? Nataka unisikie na unielewe kwanza loud and clear. Hizo mashida zenye unasema ati unapitia ni kama clouds na eventually zitaenda sky itakuwa clear. Sika uko depressed, stressed ama in life una any doubts. Nataka urepeat these words from my mouth. God, please help me. God, take the steering wheel. Bible inasemanga if you ask you shall receive. But asking is not enough, you must also believe. You live by faith and not by sight. So, kama kuna shida yoyote, pelekea Christ na for sure utasee the light. I'm not saying that every cloud will disappear. Chenye nasema ni daily the light itakuwa more clear. So, kwa majina ni Spoken Master, na even though I'm still a youngster, na kuahidi una witness the birth of a young bright star.